The call from my mother yesterday brought it all rushing back. That night, 10 years ago, when my father's hand slammed against the mahogany dining table, making the crystal glasses dance. I remember thinking how odd it was that I'd noticed such a small detail while my entire world imploded. My name is Tinsley, and that was the night my family decided I wasn't worth keeping. You ungrateful little bitch, my father had snarled, his face turning that dangerous shade of purple I'd grown to fear. Do you have any idea what you're throwing away? I stood my ground, though my knees threatened to buckle. I won't marry him. I don't love Marvin, and I never will. Love? My mother's laugh was brittle as she dabbed at her expertly made up eyes. Oh, darling, love is a luxury we can't afford. The Warrens are offering us a merger that could double our market share. So, sell your shares, not your daughter, I shot back. My brother Ryan smirked from his corner of the table, shoveling another forkful of Wagyu beef into his mouth. Always knew you'd screw this up, sis. Too emotional, too dramatic. Shut up, Ryan, I snapped, but my father's voice thundered over mine. You will marry Marvin Warren, or so help me God. Or what? The words escaped before I could stop them. You'll cut me off? Disown me? Go ahead. The silence that followed felt like a living thing coiling around my throat. My father's voice went deadly quiet. You don't mean that. Try me. He stood slowly, straightening his tie, a gesture I'd seen him make countless times before crushing business rivals. Very well. You have exactly 1 hour to pack your things and leave this house. Whatever you can't carry, you lose. Your credit cards will be canceled. Your trust fund, frozen. Your car keys stay here. My mother gasped. Richard, surely. No, Maureen. She's made her choice. He turned to me, eyes cold. You want to throw away everything we've built for you? Fine, but you'll do it properly. You walk away with nothing. Ryan actually clapped. Christmas just got less expensive. I remember the walk to my room feeling endless. My hands didn't shake as I packed. One suitcase, my laptop, and the locket my grandmother had given me before she died. The rest, designer clothes, jewelry, a lifetime of carefully curated possessions. It all seemed meaningless suddenly. Rebecca, my best friend, was waiting outside in her beat up Honda when I walked out. I'd texted her under the table, knowing I'd need an escape route. My father stood in the doorway, watching. Last chance, Tinsley, he called out. Don't be stupid. I turned back one final time. Stupid would be selling myself to the highest bidder. I'd rather be poor than be property. The door slammed behind me with a finality that echoed through my bones. That night, crying on Rebecca's couch, I made myself a promise. I wouldn't just survive, I would rise from these ashes and build something so powerful they'd choke on their regret. You okay? Rebecca had asked, handing me a glass of cheap wine. No, I admitted, but I will be. 10 years passed. I worked, I planned, I became someone else entirely. And then yesterday, my phone rang with a number I'd never deleted but never answered. Tinsley? My mother's voice was smaller than I remembered. I. We need your help. The company? We need money. Just a small loan. 250,000. Please. I let the silence stretch until she started babbling. I know we haven't, that things aren't, but you're still family. And family helps family, right? I almost laughed at that. Almost. Instead, I said the only thing I could. I'll think about it. She didn't know, couldn't know, that I'd been watching their slow collapse for months, that I knew exactly why they needed that money and exactly how desperate they were, that I had become everything they never thought I could be. They'd taught me well, after all. Business is business, family is family, and revenge is best served in a boardroom with paperwork and lawyers as witnesses. I hung up without promising anything, then called Rebecca. It's time, I said simply. You sure? She asked. Once you do this? I've been sure for 10 years. I looked out my penthouse window at the city below. They want to see me? Fine, but this time, I'm not coming as their daughter. I'm coming as their worst nightmare. Your mother called again, Rebecca announced, striding into my office with a stack of papers. That's the third time today. I didn't look up from my laptop. And? And she's crying harder each time. Rebecca dropped the papers on my desk. Here's the latest intel on Foster Capital. It's worse than we thought. Now that got my attention. I flipped through the documents, each page confirming what I already knew. My family's company was hemorrhaging money faster than a gunshot wound. Ryan bought another yacht, I noted, tapping a particularly damning transaction. Right after they laid off 30% of their staff. Rebecca perched on the edge of my desk. The board's calling an emergency meeting next week. Word is, they're looking for a miracle. Or a sacrificial lamb. I smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Has Remy confirmed our position? 35% ownership through various shell companies. All clean, all legal, all untraceable. She paused. Are you really going to do this? My phone buzzed again. Mother. I let it ring. They made me nothing once, I said quietly. Now I own more of their company than they do, and they don't even know it. The phone buzzed again. This time, I answered. Tinsley? My mother's voice was raw. Please, darling, we need to talk. So, talk. Not like this. Not over the phone. Can we meet? Your father doesn't know you're calling. I finished for her. Does he still think I'm waiting tables somewhere? A telling silence. Actually, I continued, I'll save you the trouble. I know about the emergency board meeting next Thursday. I'll be there. You. How did you know about that? I have my sources. I examined my manicure, remembering when I couldn't afford nail polish. Tell father to expect me, and mother, wear waterproof mascara. You'll need it. I hung up before she could respond. Rebecca was watching me carefully. That was cold. That was business. I stood up, walking to the window. Get me everything on the board members voting histories, personal vulnerabilities, financial ties. And call Remy. I want him ready to move the minute I give the signal. Already done. She hesitated. There's something else. Marvin Warren reached out. I froze. What? His marriage is failing. Apparently, he heard through the grapevine that you're successful now. He wants to reconnect. The laugh that escaped me was sharp enough to cut glass. Of course he does. The same Marvin who told my father I wasn't worth the dowry, who married that Silicon Valley heiress 6 months after I left. The very same. Rebecca's smile turned wicked. Want me to send him your regards? No need. I picked up one of the reports. He'll see me soon enough. His company's been trying to acquire Foster Capital's Asian division for months. Jesus, Tinsley. Rebecca shook her head. You really did think of everything. 10 years is a long time to plan. I turned back to my desk, pulling up the company's latest financial projections. They thought they were teaching me a lesson that night. Instead, they taught me how to be ruthless. My intercom buzzed. Ms. Wolfe, your 2 o'clock is here. I smiled at the name, my grandmother's maiden name, now my shield and sword. Send them in. Rebecca gathered her things. Want me to prep the legal team for next Thursday? Not yet. First, I want to watch them squirm. I straightened my blazer. Let them see their prodigal daughter walk in. Let them think they still have the upper hand. And then? And then I show them exactly who I've become. I picked up my grandmother's locket, the only piece of jewelry I'd taken that night. They wanted to make an example of me? Fine. I'll be an example of what happens when you mistake someone's kindness for weakness. Rebecca paused at the door. Just remember something for me? What's that? Revenge might feel good, but it won't heal what they broke. I met her eyes in the reflection of the window. I'm not looking to heal Rebecca. I'm looking to return the favor. As she left, I opened the locket, looking at the small photo inside. Me at my college graduation, my grandmother's arm around my shoulders, both of us smiling, before everything fell apart. Before I learned that family was just another word for leverage. Watch me, Gran, I whispered, closing the locket. Watch me take everything they love, just like they took everything from me. My 2 o'clock was waiting. Another CEO who thought he was meeting the mysterious Ms. Wolfe for the first time, not knowing he was walking into the lair of someone who'd learned from the best how to destroy people politely. Time to get to work. After all, I had a family reunion to prepare for. Another vodka tonic? The manager asked, watching me wipe down the sticky bar counter. Not tonight, Mike. I've got class in the morning. That was 10 years ago. My first job after being cut off. 3 shifts a week at a dive bar. Community college during the day, and every spare moment spent studying the financial markets on my laptop. Rebecca would visit during my shifts, spreading her law books across the bar. You know, she'd say, highlighting another passage, there are easier ways to get back at them. I don't want easy, I'd reply, counting my tips. I want complete. The regulars called me Princess at first, amused by how I measured each pour like it was fine wine. They stopped laughing when I turned that precision into the highest liquor sales the bar had ever seen. Everything was data, everything was a pattern. I saw it in the way customers ordered, in the flow of the crowd, in the rise and fall of stock prices I tracked obsessively between serving drinks. You've got a gift, my economics professor told me after I aced another exam. Ever consider a career in market analysis? I did more than consider it. I became it. The first real break came from a drunk hedge fund manager who couldn't shut up about his latest algorithm. I recorded every word on my phone, researched through the night, and spent my entire savings, 2427, on my first investment. It tripled in 2 weeks. Rebecca helped me set up the shell companies. You sure about this name? She asked, hovering over the incorporation papers. Wolf Ventures? My grandmother's maiden name, I explained, the only family member who ever believed in me. We worked from her studio apartment, living on ramen and coffee. I bartended less, traded more. Each win built on the last. Small accounts became medium ones. Medium became large. Holy shit, Rebecca gasped one morning, staring at my laptop. Is that number real? I nodded, watching another trade complete. And it's all legal. Every penny. They have no idea, do they? Your family? They stopped checking on me years ago. I closed the laptop. As far as they know, I'm still serving drinks somewhere, living paycheck to paycheck. That's when I hired Remy. Brilliant, loyal Remy, who became the face of my operations while I stayed in the shadows. Together, we built an empire, piece by piece, company by company. Ma'am? Remy's voice pulls me back to the present. We're in my private elevator, heading to another meeting. The latest reports from Foster Capital just came in. Their stock dropped another 12% this morning. I check my phone. 3 missed calls from my mother, 2 from my father's assistant. Right on schedule. Their board is panicking. Remy continues. Your Uncle Samson called. He wants to meet privately before Thursday. That surprises me. Uncle Samson, my father's younger brother, was always the quiet one. The only board member who voted against cutting me off, though I didn't learn that until years later. Set it up, I tell Remy. Tonight, if possible. The elevator opens to my penthouse office. Floor to ceiling windows offer a view of the city that would make my father salivate. His office, I know, faces a brick wall. Rebecca's waiting inside. Guess who I just got off the phone with? Enlighten me. Marvin Warren's wife. Her grin is savage. Apparently, she found some interesting emails between her husband and his secretary. She's considering hiring us to handle the divorce. I pour us both a drink. Top shelf vodka, measured precisely. Take the case, but make sure she knows that Ms. Wolf's firm has a strict conflict of interest policy regarding foster capital. That should get the rumor mill turning. Rebecca accepts the glass. You know, there's a certain poetry to all this. They tried to marry you off for a business deal, and now I own their business. I raise my glass. To karma. My phone buzzes again. This time it's a text from Uncle Samson. Dinner tonight, just us. Some things you need to know. I show Rebecca the message. She frowns. Could be a trap. Could be. I text back a simple yes. But Uncle Samson was always different. Besides, I'm not that scared little girl anymore. No, Rebecca agrees, looking around the office that screams power and success. You're definitely not. I touch my grandmother's locket. A habit I've never broken. You know what the worst part is? They thought they were punishing me, but they were actually setting me free. Everything I am now, I built it myself. No family name, no connections, no safety net. And now, I walk to the window, watching the sun set over the city that's become my kingdom. Now I'm going to teach them the lesson they thought they were teaching me. Everything has a price. The city lights begin to twinkle on, one by one, like stars being born, or maybe like opportunities waiting to be seized by someone hungry enough, determined enough, angry enough to reach for them. Someone like me. The Foster Capital boardroom still smells like leather and power exactly as I remember it. I'm watching through the security feed on my phone as the board members file in, each face more grim than the last. Ready? Remy asks beside me. Born ready. I straighten my Chanel suit, black, like a widow at a funeral, which, in a way, I am. I'm here to bury their empire. My father takes his seat at the head of the table, looking older than I expected. Mother hovers near him, perfectly coiffed but fidgeting with her pearls. Ryan slouches in late, nursing what I suspect is a hangover. They're discussing the mysterious investor now. Remy whispers, listening through his earpiece. Your father's telling them Ms. Wolfe sent a representative. I smile. That's our cue. Remy enters first. I hear my father's voice boom through the door. Well, where is she? Where is this Ms. Wolfe? Ms. Wolfe sends her regards. Remy begins. And would like to. I push the door open. Actually, I prefer to deliver my regards in person. The silence is delicious. Mother's hand flies to her throat. Ryan chokes on his water. My father's face does that familiar purple thing that used to terrify me. What is this? He demands. What are you doing here? I walk to the center of the room, heels clicking on marble. I'm here about the bailout you so desperately need, though I have to say 250,000 seems a bit modest given your actual situation. How dare you? Ryan starts to stand, but Uncle Samson cuts him off. Let her speak. I pull out the chair directly opposite my father. Thank you, Uncle Samson. As I was saying, your company needs significantly more than a small loan. By my calculations, you're about 3 months from total collapse. Nonsense, my father snaps. Who do you think you are coming in here? I think, I interrupt, sliding a folder across the table. I'm your majority shareholder. The room erupts. Board members grab for the documents, flipping pages frantically. My mother sinks into her chair, face white. Impossible, Ryan sputters. You're lying. Am I? I nod to Remy, who starts the presentation. Graphs appear on the wall screen, showing the steady accumulation of shares through various shell companies. 35% acquired over 8 years. All legal, all verified. This is a trick. My father stands, hands flat on the table. You're nothing. You have nothing. We made sure of that. I laugh, and the sound makes him flinch. You really think I spent the last decade serving drinks? Oh, father, you taught me better than that. Tinsley, my mother whispers, please, we're your family. Family? I turn to her slowly. Was I family when you watched him throw me out? When you changed the locks? When you told the staff never to let me in again? Uncle Samson clears his throat. The shares appear legitimate, Richard, as does her assessment of our financial situation. Our situation is temporary, Ryan argues. We just need another yacht, I cut in, or perhaps another gambling spree in Monaco. I have the receipts for those too, dear brother, every last one. The board members are whispering now, papers rustling like autumn leaves before a storm. What do you want? My father's voice is dangerous, quiet. I stand, smoothing my skirt. Simple. I want control. Full, complete, irrevocable control of Foster Capital. You can sign it over now, or I can call an emergency shareholder vote with Uncle Samson's proxy. I smile at him. Which I already have. I'll win either way. You wouldn't dare, Mother gasps. Wouldn't I? I pull out another folder. These are the termination papers for the entire board, including you, Father, including your golden boy, Ryan. Sign now, and I'll let you resign gracefully. Refuse. I shrug. Well, the press loves a scandal. Ryan lunges across the table, but Remy's there instantly, one hand on his shoulder. I wouldn't, he says quietly. My father's face has gone from purple to white. You've become a monster. No, father. I lean forward, meeting his eyes. I've become you. Isn't that what you always wanted? A child who understood business, who knew how to seize power, who never let emotion cloud their judgment. Richard, Uncle Samson says softly, sign the papers. The next few minutes are a blur of signatures and legal jargon. I don't watch my father's hand shake as he signs away his life's work. I don't acknowledge my mother's quiet sobs. I certainly don't react when Ryan storms out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the windows. Finally, it's done. I gather the papers, tucking them into my briefcase. The board will reconvene next week, I announce to the shell shocked room. I suggest you all update your resumes in the meantime. At the door, I pause. Oh, and father? I'll be taking your office. The view may be terrible, but the symbolism is worth it. I walk out before anyone can respond, my heels clicking a victory march on the marble floor. Wait! My mother's voice echoes down the hallway as I stride toward the elevator. Tinsley, please! I keep walking, but she catches up, grabbing my arm. For a moment, I'm transported back to being 16, getting scolded for a less than perfect grade. Take your hand off me, I say quietly. She does, but steps in front of me instead. You can't do this to us. To your father. This company is his life. Funny. I thought I was his life once. I try to step around her, but she blocks my path. We made mistakes, she admits, mascara starting to run despite my warning about waterproof. Terrible mistakes, but this is cruel. Cruel? I laugh. Let me tell you about cruel, mother. Cruel is spending Christmas alone in a roach infested apartment because your family changed their number. Cruel is watching your brother wreck the company while you build yourself from nothing. Cruel is, I wanted to call. She's full on crying now. Every birthday, every holiday. Richard wouldn't let me. And you always did exactly what Richard wanted, didn't you? The elevator dings. Remy steps out, followed by two security guards. Ms. Wolfe, he says formally, the transition team is ready. Good. I turn back to my mother. You have 24 hours to clear out your office. Anything left behind will be disposed of. You sound just like him, she whispers. That was the goal, wasn't it? To raise a child who understood power? I step into the elevator. Congratulations. Mission accomplished. The doors start to close, but a hand stops them. My father pushes through, his face a mask of barely controlled rage. You think this is over? He snarls. I built this company from nothing. I have friends, connections. Had, I correct him. You had connections. Past tense. Would you like to see the list of investors who've already pledged their support to the new leadership? I pull out my phone. Or perhaps the documentation of every questionable deal you've made in the past decade. His face pales. You're bluffing. Try me. I hold up my phone, showing him a particularly damning email. Remember this conversation with the SEC investigator? The one you paid off? Mother gasps. Father lunges forward, but the security guards step between us. That's enough, Remy says firmly. Mr. Foster, please step back. This isn't over, Father growls. Actually, it is. I scroll through my phone. Oh, look, the press release just went out. Foster Capital announces new leadership under innovative CEO. The market's already responding. Your stock is up 12% just on the news of your departure. The elevator doors try to close again. This time, no one stops them. Remy, I say as we descend, make sure IT changes all the passwords immediately, and have security escort Ryan out if he's still in the building. Already done. He hands me a tablet. The transition team needs your signature on these. The lobby is chaos when we emerge. Reporters crowd the entrance, cameras flashing. I see Ryan arguing with security near the front desk, his face red with fury or alcohol or both. Tinsley, he shouts when he spots me. You think you can just walk in here and I already did. I don't break stride as I pass him. By the way, the Ferrari you bought with company funds, it's being repossessed as we speak. He lunges for me, but the guards are faster. As they drag him toward the exit, he screams, You'll regret this! We're blood! Blood? I turn to face him one last time. Blood doesn't cancel debt, dear brother, and you owe me a decade's worth. Outside, the reporters surge forward. Questions fly like arrows. Miss Foster, is it true you've taken control? What are your plans for the company? How does it feel to return after 10 years? I raise a hand for silence. My name is Tinsley Wolfe, and yes, I have assumed control of Foster Capital. As for my plans, I smile directly into the cameras, knowing my family is watching. Let's just say some debts can only be paid in full. My phone buzzes. It's Rebecca. Just saw the news. You okay? I text back. Never better. Another message pops up, this one from Uncle Samson. Your grandmother would be proud. The company needed this. Maybe the family did too. I touch my locket as my car pulls up. The driver opens the door and I slide in, leaving the chaos behind. Through the tinted windows, I watch my father's empire, now mine, grow smaller in the distance. Where to, Ms. Wolf? The driver asks. Home, I reply, then correct myself. No, take me to the office. My real office. After all, revenge is exhausting work, and I'm just getting started. The board meeting room feels different from this end of the table. My father's chair, my chair now, still holds the warmth of his last desperate stand. The votes are in, Remy announces, passing out documents to the remaining board members. With Ms. Wolf's 35% plus Mr. Sampson's 20%, the motion passes. The company restructuring will proceed as planned. Uncle Samson catches my eye from across the table and nods slightly. The other board members shift uncomfortably in their seats, like students waiting to see who'll be called to the principal's office. Let's address the elephant in the room, I say, standing. Most of you voted against me 10 years ago when my father wanted to cut me off. Today, you'll find out if I hold grudges. The silence is thick enough to choke on. Ms. Wolf, one of the older members ventures, we were simply following protocol. Save it, Harold. I tap my tablet, and their faces appear on the wall screen. Let's review your recent contributions, shall we? You approved Ryan's expenses without question. You ignored the CFO's warnings about our Asian market exposure. You rubber stamped every reckless decision that brought us here. Now, see here. Another begins, but I cut him off. Your resignation letters are in the folders in front of you. Sign them now, and you'll receive 6 months severance. Refuse, and I'll have security escort you out with nothing. The scratching of pens fills the room. Only Uncle Samson remains still, watching with what might be approval. My phone buzzes. A text from Rebecca. Ryan's in the lobby, says he needs to talk. Alone. I text back, send him up, but keep security ready. The board members file out, leaving just Uncle Samson and me. You didn't ask for my resignation, he notes. You're the only one who tried to stop them that night. I sit back down. Besides, I need someone who remembers the old foster capital, someone who can help me build something better. He smiles. Your grandmother used to say you had steel in your spine. She'd be proud to see it now. The door bursts open. Ryan stumbles in, looking worse than this morning. His designer suit is rumpled, his eyes wild. Sister dear, he slurs. We need to talk. Uncle Samson stands, but I wave him back down. Stay. Whatever my dear brother has to say, he can say it in front of family. Ryan laughs bitterly. Family? Is that what we are now? He drops into a chair. You know what's funny? I always thought you were the weak one, the soft one. Turns out you're worse than father ever was. Is there a point to this visit? He leans forward, suddenly intense. We can work together. You and me, cut the old man out completely. I know things. Secrets that could destroy him. Help me take him down, and we'll split everything 50-50. I stare at him for a long moment. You really don't get it, do you? I already have everything. You have nothing to offer except betrayal. And trust me, I learned that lesson from the best. Don't be stupid, he snarls. You need me. I know all the players, all the deals. You mean like the insider trading you did last quarter? I slide a folder across the table. Or the money you've been funneling to your offshore account. Don't worry, I've already forwarded copies to the SEC. His face goes from red to white. You wouldn't dare. I already did. I press a button on my phone. Security, please escort my brother out and make sure he doesn't take anything from his office. It's all evidence now. Ryan stands so fast his chair topples. You evil bitch! You're destroying this family! No, Ryan, the family destroyed itself. I'm just cleaning up the mess. I turn to Uncle Samson. Would you like to show him out, or should we let security handle it? I'll do it. Uncle Samson takes Ryan's arm firmly. Come on, boy. Time to face the music. As they leave, I hear Ryan's voice crack. She can't do this to us. She's nobody. Wrong again, little brother, I murmur to the empty room. I'm everybody you were afraid I'd become. My phone buzzes again. Rebecca, just got word. Your father's trying to call an emergency shareholder meeting to contest the takeover. I smile, touching my grandmother's locket. Let him try. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people destroy themselves. The sun is setting outside, painting the city in shades of gold and shadow. From up here, everything looks small, even the empire I've just claimed, even the family I've just broken. Uncle Samson returns, closing the door quietly behind him. Well, that's done. Ready to build something new? I stand, straightening my jacket. First, we tear down the old, completely. And then, and then we build something they never could. I pick up my grandmother's photo from the desk. Something worthy of the name Wolf. The city lights begin to twinkle on, like stars being born, or maybe like empires falling, one light at a time. Turn on CNBC, Rebecca says the moment I answer her call. I grab the remote, and there it is, my father's face, trying desperately to maintain his composure during a live interview. These allegations are baseless, he's saying, his tie slightly crooked. My daughter is conducting a hostile takeover based on your daughter, the interviewer interrupts, who you publicly disowned 10 years ago for refusing an arranged marriage, the same daughter who apparently built a billion-dollar investment empire while you were unaware. I turn up the volume, pouring myself a drink. That's that's not relevant to the current situation, my father stammers. What's relevant is that she's destroying a legacy. A legacy of insider trading? The interviewer holds up a document. We have evidence here suggesting your son Ryan was involved in multiple securities violations. Care to comment? I mute the TV. How did they get those documents? Anonymous source, Rebecca says innocently. You didn't. I did, and that's not all. Wait for it. The screen splits to show Ryan being escorted out of his luxury apartment building by federal agents. The caption reads Breaking, Foster Capital, heir arrested on multiple fraud charges. My phone explodes with notifications. Mother calling, Uncle Samson texting, even Marvin Warren trying to slide into my DMs with a we should talk. The stock's up 20%, Remy reports, walking into my office. The market loves a scandal, especially when it comes with new leadership. I should feel triumphant. This is everything I wanted. My family exposed, their empire crumbling, my victory complete. Instead, I feel empty. Ms. Wolf? My assistant appears in the doorway. There's a delivery for you. She hands me a thick manila envelope. No return address, just my name in familiar handwriting. Inside is an old photograph, torn diagonally down the middle. It shows my whole family at some charity gala years ago, all perfect smiles and designer clothes. A note falls out. Build something better. Leave the ashes behind. Love, Gran. Who's it from? Rebecca asks. My grandmother's lawyer, I assume. I touch the torn photo. She always did have a flair for the dramatic. The TV catches my attention again. They're showing old footage now. Me at 18 at some debutante ball. My father's hand on my shoulder, pride in his eyes. Before it all went wrong. Turn it off, I snap. Rebecca studies me carefully. You okay? Fine. I stand abruptly. Just tired of looking backward. My phone buzzes. A text from Uncle Samson. Your father's being questioned by the SEC. Your mother's checking into a spa for her nerves. Ryan's lawyer is looking for a plea deal. You won. Won. Such a simple word for such a complicated feeling. What now? Remy asks, still waiting for instructions. I walk to the window, pressing my forehead against the cool glass. Below, news vans crowd the street like vultures around a carcass. Now we rebuild, I say finally. Not foster capital. Something new. Something clean. Wolf Enterprises? Rebecca suggests. No. I turn back to them. Reagan Foundation, named after my grandmother, a company that invests in women who've been cut off by their families. Give them what I never had support, resources, a chance. Rebecca's eyes widen. That's not what I expected. Neither was I. I pick up the torn photo again. They thought making me nothing would break me. Instead, it made me everything I am. Maybe it's time to pass that on. My assistant appears again. Ms. Wolf, your mother's in the lobby. She's quite insistent. I close my eyes for a moment. Send her up. You sure? Rebecca asks. No, but it's time to stop hiding. Minutes later, my mother walks in. She looks smaller somehow, less polished. Her hands twist her designer purse strap. Your father, she begins, is facing the consequences of his actions. I finish, just like Ryan, just like everyone else. And me? Her voice cracks. What consequences do I face? I look at her, really look at her, for the first time in years. That depends. Are you here as my mother or as the wife of Richard Foster? She sets her purse down carefully. I don't know how to be anything else anymore. Then learn. I hand her the torn photograph. I did. She stares at it for a long moment. Your grandmother, she would have loved this. You becoming this? I know. I touch my locket. That's why I'm doing what comes next. Which is? I press the intercom. Send in the PR team. It's time to announce the Reagan Foundation. My mother looks confused. What's that? A chance to build something better than revenge. I gesture to the door. You can stay and watch if you want, or you can leave. Your choice. She sits down slowly, still clutching the photograph. For the first time in 10 years, she stays. The granite headstone is cool under my fingers as I trace my grandmother's name. Reagan Wolfe. The autumn wind whips leaves around my feet, and somewhere behind me, Rebecca waits patiently by the car. You'd love what's happening, Gran, I say softly. The Foundation's first round of grants went out today. 20 women, all cut off by their families, all brilliant, all ready to build something new. I place my business card on the stone. Wolf Enterprises on one side, the Reagan Foundation on the other, a legacy of my own making. My phone buzzes. Uncle Samson, board meeting in an hour. Your mother's presentation is ready. That still feels strange to say. My mother, working. But she's thrown herself into the foundation with surprising passion, interviewing candidates, sharing her own stories of gilded cages and impossible expectations. Ms. Wolfe, Remy approaches from the path. Sorry to interrupt, but there's something you need to see. He hands me his tablet. It's a news article. Richard Foster, released from federal custody, announces plans to start new venture. I hand it back without comment. Should we be concerned? Remy asks. No. I stand, brushing dirt from my knees. Let him build whatever he wants. I'm done looking over my shoulder. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Ryan, calling from his minimum security facility. I silence it without answering. Still not talking to him? Rebecca asks as I reach the car. Nothing left to say. I slide into the back seat. He made his choices, just like father made his. The drive back to the office is quiet until Rebecca breaks the silence. You know what today is, right? Tuesday? It's exactly 10 years since you walked out. Down to the day. I touch my locket, thinking of that scared girl with one suitcase and a broken heart. She'd never believe where we are now, where we. The elevator opens to our floor, and I'm immediately hit with the energy of the place. Young women hurry between meetings, their faces bright with purpose. In the conference room, my mother stands at a whiteboard teaching a seminar on navigating hostile business environments. She catches my eye through the glass and nods. We're not close, probably never will be, but we're something new, something real. Ms. Wolfe? My assistant appears. There's a Marvin Warren here to see you. I almost laugh. Send him in. He enters like he owns the place, all expensive suit and practiced charm. Tinsley, you look. Save it. I don't offer him a seat. Why are you here? Can't an old friend? We were never friends, Marvin. You were a business transaction that fell through. His smile falters. Fine. My company's struggling. I thought, given our history, I bought controlling interest in your company last week. I smile as his face drops. Check your email. The board votes on new leadership tomorrow. You can't. Already did. I press the intercom. Security, please escort Mr. Warren out and make sure he returns his visitor's badge. As he's led away, Rebecca whistles low. Brutal. Necessary, I correct her. Now, let's get to that board meeting. The boardroom is full when we arrive. Uncle Samson sits at my right, my mother at my left. The wall behind me displays the Reagan Foundation's mission statement, building bridges where others burn them. First order of business, I announce, is reviewing our first quarter results. Revenue's up 40%. The foundation's fully funded for the next decade, and our newest acquisition, I pause for effect, just happened to be our biggest competitor. Your father's new company, Uncle Samson clarifies for the room. He doesn't know yet, I add, but he will when the papers are delivered to his apartment tonight. My mother touches my arm lightly. Was that necessary? No. I meet her eyes. But neither was what he did to me. The difference is I'm not doing this for revenge anymore. I'm doing it because it's good business. The meeting continues, but my mind drifts to that torn photograph, now framed in my office. A reminder not of what I lost, but of what I found: strength, purpose, and a different kind of family. Later, alone in my office, I open my locket one last time. The old graduation photo slides out easily, making room for a new one. Me at the foundation's launch, surrounded by our first class of grant recipients. Women with fire in their eyes and steel in their spines. My phone lights up with a text from Rebecca. Dinner? Can't, I reply. Meeting with potential investors. More acquisitions? I smile, looking out at the city. My city now. No, something better. Something new. They thought disowning me was the end. Turns out it was just the origin story. I close the locket with a decisive click and head for the door. There's work to be done, bridges to build, and a legacy to create, one that's entirely my own.